Nothing better than The Price is Right. The Price is Right is the best show in the world.
I was waiting for you to hit that button.
Yeah, I hit it a little too late. I wish I would have gotten more about The Price is Right. But
yeah, I used to pretend to be sick so I could just watch The Price is Right back in the day. That's the context.
There's nothing better than that. I mean, were you our senior year in high school? Were you in my economics class? We got to watch The Price is Right every day in there.
No,
with Miss Brenda.
Oh no, I wasn't in that one.
Yeah, that was we got to watch The Price is Right during high school senior year.
Heck yeah!
Whatever.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 and welcome to the special International Movie Break edition of the Red, White, and the Blues podcast. I am your host, Jolly Saint Daniel, and that is that's Jolly Saint Jason over there.
That works pretty good, actually.
It does.
Jolly Saint Daniel's good, but Jolly Saint Jason has the alliteration.
Jolly St. Jason. But yeah. And we are in the Christmas spirit, even though it's not even freaking Thanksgiving yet, Jason.
That's gonna release on November 20th or November 19th.
Yeah.
So it's early. We're really early.
We're really
early. The wheel did this to us.
The wheel did it. That is Jason.
It wasn't
us. We have to honor the wheel.
Yes.
We must. The wheel is sacred. And we have to honor and respect the will. And you are 100% correct. We did not choose this.
Yeah.
The wheel had 10 options. And the wheel chose this.
Dude, the wheel did have 10 options. And only like a third of those were Christmas movies. It straight up went Christmas. It went Christmas like the whole way.
It did. Yeah, because the last two were Home Alone and A Christmas Story.
We put our favorite Christmas movies on the wheel last time. And then, so mine got picked. A Christmas Story. Yeah.
I'm wearing a Home Alone shirt.
As you should.
Jason's got his festive St. Nicholas hat on. So, yeah. But if you haven't figured it out by now, this is not a normal Chelsea episode, as always. If you're one of our loyal listeners for the last few years, you will know that during the international break, we do not talk about Chelsea unless there's an emergency. And so this year, this time, there is no emergency. So we are reviewing a movie, and the all-powerful mighty Will chose A Christmas Story for us to review. And this is Jason's favorite Christmas movie. So I know he is chomping at the bit to get into this. Bad news though, or good news, depends on how you look at it. No international break, I think, until March.
Yeah. Oh.
Which
I'm okay.
I'm okay with that too. Although I do enjoy doing these episodes. It breaks up the monotony of talking about Chelsea. So
I agree. I guess we're getting full swing into tournament season, even though we're out of the EFL. But I don't like international break because I always worry that a player's going to get injured, and it does look like Lavia got injured.
He's got a little hammy.
Yeah.
But we are going to do a Leicester City preview episode for y'all later on this week. So this is Tuesday. So this will drop on Tuesday. It'll probably drop on Thursday.
AKA shut up, Jason.
No, we're here to talk about A Christmas Story is what we are here to talk about. And Jason is going to tell us what this movie, the synopsis of this movie. And for the fair warning, if you have never seen this movie, spoiler alert, we will spoil the movie for you. Turn this off, go watch the movie, then come back and listen to this.
Or just listen to us and spoil the movie. Over 40 years old at this point. They show it in 24-hour marathons every Christmas on TNT and TBS. I think it is on both now.
Yeah, it's on both now.
On TBS for a long time. Mm-hmm. It then was on TNT as well. Yeah. Or then was on TNT, but now it's on both. I don't know. And now Warner Brothers owns it. So they own the rights to it. So I don't know. I watched it on Max. Not a sponsor.
I watched it on Max. Hey, Max wants
Yeah.
to sponsor, so I'll take that. I'll
I mean,
put a little HBO
sure.
logo up there in the top corner up there. Right up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
HBO,
Well,
Max
it's
logo.
not HBO anymore because
That's
God
true.
forbid these companies keep their goodwill, their goodwill and branding. Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, for real. That's a
I
valid
mean,
point.
it's crazy. I don't know. They have more money than me, so what do I know?
Yeah, until Jason forces me to, we will always have the bird as our Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, I won't
Until
force
Jason.
you, ever.
Okay, well then that's gonna stay.
Yeah.
I don't care what Elon changes it to. X, what I don't care. It will always be the bird to me.
Yeah. So, I agree with the bird.
Do you remember back in the day, whenever Twitter first came out, and you used to hit the tweet button, it would do the little it whistle like a bird when you tweet. Yeah. That was the coolest thing ever. Now we don't even get that.
They really just should bring that back, but whatever.
It's X now. They should bring
yeah. I mean, they own it. They could.
I mean, he could. He's more worried about his rockets and slashing the U.S. Budget to zero right now. So Elon's.
Yeah.
Right now. So anyway, Jason, tell these people give us a synopsis. Just tell us what you want to about this movie, Jason.
Dude,
before you feel like it.
Yeah, you could go in a million different directions. Literally, this movie is about a kid who wants a BB gun for Christmas. That's what the movie's about. That's all it's about.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is true.
It's set. They have different allusions to like a year. There's no specific year given for this film. It is set in like a late 30s, early 40s sort of amorphous time thing. So you have different things like he really likes Little Orphan Annie, and there's a part in the movie where he's trying to get the decoder pin, and the pin says 1940 on it. Like his dad's car is like a 1937 car. Like the magazine that he puts the BB gun. He's trying to subliminal message his parents into getting him the Red Ryder BB gun. So he starts out at the beginning of the movie putting an ad for the Red Ryder BB gun into his mom's magazines. That he puts that by her nightstand. That's apparently like a 1937, 38 magazine. I don't know. There's no year for it. It's just like set in the 1930s, 1940s. It's about a Midwestern family, and it's kind of the antics that these kids get up to as they go to school, as the parents are parenting them, and it's the lead up to Christmas. And the big present that Ralphie, the main character, wants is a Red Ryder BB gun. So you get to see the parents. You get to learn a little bit about their neighbors and how they interact. You get to see how the dad,
the rednecks.
Yes, the rednecks, the bumpuses. You get to see how the dad interacts, thinks about Christmas. You get to see how the mom thinks about Christmas. You get to see how it's basically a family living, and the kids are anticipating Christmas, and the parents are just parenting. And I find it incredibly wholesome. I find it to be one of the true. It represents what being a kid is like at Christmas more than just about any other to me. Because you have all the little things that you do at Christmas, and you still have to go to school, and you're still having to do this homework. The homework just happens to be, what do you want for Christmas? And you're still the parents are still having to go to work, but you're doing the things as a family in between all of that. And the anticipation is real. You go see Santa, you go to the parades, you go by the tree, and then you just get to see how the family interacts with each other and towards all of these things. So, Midwestern family. I think the dad loves the Bears.
He does. He's a Bears fan.
Yeah, and so, and it's just a bunch of little vignettes of things that happen. And those vignettes tend to be pretty famous at this point. So the bunny suit, the Chinese restaurant at the end, which so I was reading some modern reviews, and modern audiences find that very racist.
Literally, my first thing I wrote on the blog tomorrow that's coming out is, here we go, another 80s politically incorrect movie. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So it is. No, that's good. It's directed in 1983, or it was released
Yeah.
in 1983. It's kind of a sleeper hit. Kind of came out right before Thanksgiving, and was still playing in like a lot of theaters through, or like 100 or so theaters through the Christmas season. So it kind of became this Christmas season hit, and now it's just considered a modern day classic. Roger Ebert at the time that it came out gave it 3 out of 4 stars, and then wound up revising that and gave it 4 out of 4, and then added it to his great movies list.
You can't do that. I'm with Dave Portnoy on this. Once you score a pizza or once you score something, it's done. You can't go back and rescore.
Anyway,
Okay.
it's made the
Sorry,
great movies
Rob.
list. There's only like 350 movies on that list, so that's pretty big.
I mean,
it's
a good movie. It is.
Yeah, it was filmed in Cleveland, Ohio. Parts of it were filmed in Canada. So like the Christmas tree buying scene is filmed in Canada. The part where they're changing the tire, the famous
famous
scene,
is
filmed. Yeah, so it's gonna be it is hard to talk about this movie as like a whole, because like it is just the sum of all of its parts, which is kind of the Christmas season anyway. Like you just kind of like are trying to create memories. It just happens to be like these memories are just this family living their lives. And so the way there is a narration through the film, and I think modern audiences don't like that, because I was reading some reviews for that. Yeah. I think it's like really necessary, because it's the kid as an adult kind of narrating himself through this one Christmas season when he's trying to get this BB gun. And it's interesting because like, so it's narrated by the guy who actually wrote the short stories this movie is based off of, Gene Shepard. And so he plays the adult narrator, Ralphie. But apparently like some of these stories were supposed to be autobiographical, and he just embellished them anyway. Like they weren't always actually true about his life. And so it is interesting, like these not true stories are being remembered. Like we're watching a guy narrate through the remembering. Like he even is like, oh, there I am. You know, he talks about it like he's watching the memory and narrating us through the memory. So like how much of it is real? Like how much of it actually happened to the fictional narrator, but then actually it's based off the narrator's actual life, and how much of that actually happened? I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I think all the performances are great. I think that like kid actors notoriously are pretty hard. They can make or break a film. I think all the kids are pretty solid. I love this little family unit, and I love their interactions, and that is real where it's where the real magic is. And so so anyway, like throughout the movie, I'll stop in a second, but throughout the movie, like he keeps telling people he wants the BB gun. So he's like he's like strategizing how to tell his parents, and he just like blurts out that he wants it. Like it's a pretty funny scene towards the beginning of the film when he's like at dinner and he's like, I have to really think about this. And he just goes, we saw a grizzly bear over at the so-and-so store. And he's like, my parents looked at me like I was an alien. He's like, quick, change the subject. So he's like changing the subject. And then he just like blurts out to his mom that he wants this BB gun. And he's hiding the magazines, and she's like, you'll shoot your eye out. So then he gets a school assignment that's like, I want you to write a theme. And the theme is what I want for Christmas. And he's like, oh, my teacher, she'll understand how important this BB gun is. I'm going to get this BB gun. And he writes the theme. She gives him a C+, and at the bottom of the paper it says, you'll shoot your eye out. Yeah. And then he's like, I know. Why haven't I thought of this? Santa. I'll go to Santa. So there's this famous scene in Higbee's department store, which was a department store chain in the northeast kind of Midwesty states. And it's Santa's like on this huge mountain, and you got to wait in line forever. And then after you get done talking to Santa, they send you down a slide. And apparently that Higbee's kept the slide for many years after they filmed it there. And they only agreed to do the film if they got a chance to edit the script so there wouldn't be any cursing in the film. Okay. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. But he goes to Santa, and Santa, he gets to Santa, he's like starstruck. And Santa's like, come on, kid, do you just want a football? And he's like, yeah, football. And then he's like, what am I saying? And He gets sent down the slide and he crawls back up the slide. He's like, wait, I want this. And he says the whole Red Ryder BB gun. And I've never been able to say it, and I've never memorized it, so I'm not going to say it. Yeah. And Santa is like, you'll shoot your eye out, kid. And he's devastated. Like, he's so devastated. So then come Christmas, they're opening up all their presents. That's when the aunt sends the bunny suit. The mom makes him put it on. And it's horrible and funny. And then it's just like, it's so Christmas because you're sitting there amongst the carnage of the presents. They've just got done ripping all over it. The wrappers are everywhere, right? And like, you're just sitting there and you're just kind of like, it's the rest before you got to start cleaning and before you got to start cooking the dinner and like all the things. And it just feels so real. Like, I don't know, this is how my Christmases work. And they're just sitting there and the parents are like, oh, do you have a good Christmas? And he's like, yeah, that's all right. And they're like, did you get everything you wanted? And he's like, not really. And the dad's like, that's life, Yeah. And he's like, wait a minute. And he's like, and my mom has done this for me before where she just hid a present and then waited till the end. I don't know how she was able to do that. And the dad's like, what is that behind the desk? He's like, go get it. And so Ralphie goes and gets it. And of course it's the BB gun. And, and like the dad is like watching him open it with just like the sheer like joy and glee. And then if you watch that, the mom is watching the dad. Yeah. And she's watching him live through his son. Mm-hmm. And so obviously the dad picked up on the hints. Yeah. And the mom had just dismissed it. She's like, you shoot your eye out. Because she didn't even know the dad had gotten the gift. Right. And so she's watching the joy. She's watching the dad watch the son. And he's like, you gotta put him in. They'll run everywhere, and she's just watching him. And so then, of course, he immediately goes outside. He starts to shoot it. And, of course, he almost shoots his eye out, which is amazing.
Of course.
Yeah. Yep. And so he works up this whole story that an icicle fell on him and it broke his glasses and, like, all this stuff. Anyway, I will say on this watch, one of the things I did not like about this movie was Ralphie is a dick. That little kid, he is the worst friend. He is not nice. He lies to his parents constantly, Yeah. You can just dismiss it as like, oh, that's a kid. But like, he's a terrible friend. How many situations did he just leave his other friends hanging in? Anyway,
hey, he had to go back to class, Jason. That's what he told Flip.
The bell rang. The bell rang.
Go back to class. What do you want me to
do? So anyway, it did remind me a little bit of a show I used to watch as a kid called Pete and Pete.
Yeah.
And it's great show. Sometimes the way they dialogue is just like they would say these things about their dad that was supposed to be like this well-known fact in America. Like that their dad is like the best driver or something. And so that's how Ralphie narrates about his dad. He's like, it's a well-known fact that my dad is one of the fiercest furnace fighters in the Midwest. Yeah. And it's like, it's just a well-known fact,
Yep. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. What I loved about the dad this time around is that he just has such like it's such the opposite of me, because when something goes wrong, I'm like, oh, why does something go wrong? And the dad is like, they get a flat tire on the way back from buying the tree, and he's like, oh man, a flat tire, 4 minutes, time me.
4 minutes.
Yep. Yeah. Or like he just approaches buying the Christmas tree with like just this glee because he loves to haggle. And it was one of those facts about his dad. Like my dad is known as a known haggler,
Yeah.
And like, and like the furnace goes and he's like, oh man, the furnace, who is doing this to the furnace? But he like approaches it like, I am going to get this furnace this time and I'm going to win. And that's like how his dad just approached everything, and his mom's just like onward soldier. Like, I will keep this family together. I disagree with my husband on whether or not a sexy leg lamp is a cool major award and whether or not that should be in the window. But like, I will take care of my family and I will take care of these kids. And you see that like when he gets into a fight with the school bully, and Ralphie kind of comes out better on that. But like, he was saying some bad things and the mom came and got him. Yeah. Scott Farkas. Yeah. And his mom, like his mom doesn't tell his dad or like does it? It's like, ah, Ralphie got into a fight today, but you know it wasn't a big deal,
Yeah.
and she like made sure he still had his glasses and all that, and he was like, things were different between my mom and me after that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like those little touches, like the mom watching the dad, or like those little like, hey, like this is the relationship, and you'll be able to speak to this more if you want to, because I don't have kids of my own, but like I just those parental relationships, I just kind of found it to be like the parents wanted their kids to have a good Christmas. They do what they need to do. You can tell they're not like super well off. They literally eat like cabbage and meatloaf for every meal.
Every stinking meal they had freaking meatloaf.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they have in that house.
Yeah.
Can they not afford anything else?
Like, yeah, I mean maybe not. And like, but you see like they're making one turkey, and then like the neighbor's dogs are like a constant irritant of the dad. And the dogs get in the house and they destroy the turkey. And there's like this long list of like, Robbie's like, no turkey sandwiches, no turkey a la king, no turkey soup, no turkey anything. You know, and he's like, no gallons of turkey soup. And it's like, you could tell like that one turkey was going to be their meal for like a really long time. Yeah. So it's not like I don't know, but I don't know. Just as a family unit, I really enjoyed them. Like they beef and they quarrel, and they have these idiosyncrasies that don't quite mesh all the time, but like they usually still kind of come together, and you're only with them for a season, so you don't know. And they did make a sequel, which is fine, but but like and you can tell they still all have a good relationship in the sequel, I guess. So it's like maybe just a continuation of that. But anyway, I spent way too long talking about it, but you can tell how much I love it, and I find something new from it every time. And I mean, I'm pretty familiar with all the little antics and things now, but yeah, I always enjoy it. I think some of those quotes, I'll read some out after I let you talk about it. I'll read some of my favorites out, because just the way it's so poetic, the way he describes the situation or his dad, or you know, the thing that's happening. And I don't know, I enjoy it. I think it just captures Christmas. It captures a nostalgia of it that I think kind of speaks to me, but also it speaks to me mainly probably because I just watched it when I was a kid, as it came on TV. And I do feel like if it missed you as a kid, you might not appreciate it as much, or like if you're not part of like the 24-hour cycle, maybe. And so there probably is like a rose tinted look that I have of it, but I totally respect people that it's not their favorite. But I know that you watched it with your daughter, so I'll be interested to hear how somebody from my generation and one of the newer generation felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, she said it was okay. I don't know. I mean, I'll say from my perspective, I did not like this movie growing up. It was one of my least favorite Christmas movies. But I like watching it now as an adult. I like it a lot more, and I appreciate it a lot more. And enjoy it a lot more than what I did. I think it's weird because I think it was because it was on the 24-hour cycle. And I was like, why is this stupid movie always on my TV for 24 hours every Christmas? This is dumb. I think that's why I didn't like it. But it's weird because it's not like, the overall theme in the movie is like him getting the gun. Like but there's probably more scenes with them doing other things outside of him getting the gun. And a lot of times, those are the ones that end up being the iconic scenes, like the car scene where he says "fudge," the Flick sticking his tongue on the flagpole, you know, the bunny outfit. Like those are like the things that most people remember. And then "Don't shoot your eye out." That's like the famous quote from it. So I like it for that aspect of it. That it's like all these. It's like a microcosm like into their lives, and you don't just see just Christmas stuff. It's like their daily life, and here's everything, like all these cool little, like, for lack of a better word, side quests, and you know, like things that happen in there. So it's just a fun movie. Like, I do have a conspiracy theory I did develop off this movie, Jason. So I wanted to run it by you. I believe, and I want to see if you can figure out who it is, that there's a character that came out in a later movie that is based off of Scut Farkus, or whatever his last name is, off of Scut. It's an animated movie. What character?
I'm gonna kick myself when you tell me. I'm not going to be able to. Can you give me another hint?
It's a Disney movie. It's one of the best. It's a Pixar Disney movie.
Oh,
Technically it's Pixar.
oh yeah. Toy Story.
Yeah, Sid.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Sid is Scott, and Scott is Sid. Like,
Yeah.
I saw Scott, I'm like, that's Sid. Like,
Yeah.
the braces. Like, this is Sid, you know? And
I totally
yeah,
get that.
I don't know. I think that
When
Toy
he's not
Story-
beating up Ralphie and stuff, he's destroying
Yeah.
toys.
Right, exactly. He came out from behind a fence
Yeah.
at one point in
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But yeah, it was just a fun movie. Yeah, it was not for an 80s movie, it was not probably politically incorrect until the end scene. And I definitely
Yeah.
see why people could say that about it. I don't think it is, because
Yeah.
I don't know. As a Chinese person correcting other people that are Chinese or Oriental, I don't want to know if they're Chinese. I just consider Chinese because it's a Chinese restaurant. But like correcting them on the way they're saying Chinese words. So
Right.
I don't know. And then I don't know. Him chopping that duck's head off is awesome. I love
Oh
that part.
yeah.
Every time.
I mean, I think you can look at it as racism if you want to.
Yeah.
I look at it as they're satirizing the stereotype.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. So like it just it is what it is. You can look at it how you want, but like it's a comedic thing that satirizes it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than what Family Guy does.
Yes.
Like it's a Family Guy joke. Like that's exactly what that is. And I think it's hilarious. I don't think people are as offended as I think people get offended for groups of people more than that group of people gets offended at the thing.
I agree with that.
I think that that's probably what's happening there.
Yep.
There is I don't know. I'll let you finish your thought, but that's just my thought of that.
I'm done with it. That's my thought. I agree with you, what you said. Probably my favorite line from the whole movie is when the dad gets the lamp and he says it's he just plugs it into the wall and it lights up and he goes, "It's the soft glow of electric sex."
Yes.
I love that line. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie. There's so many good ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When
like,
his dad, when they first get the box and it says "fragile" on it, it is like "fragile." Must be Italian. His mom's like, I think that just says "fragile."
But
he just blows past it.
Yeah, the whole thing where he's describing the lamp is one of the best things.
Yeah.
He also says it reminds him of the 4th of July. And I wrote, nothing says America like a sexy leg lamp.
There's one scene, they're putting up the Christmas tree on Christmas Eve, which I think is an interesting tradition. But like the dad is like trying to get a string of lights to work. And so like the red lights are working and the green lights are working. And he's like, oh man, it's like the green lights aren't working. And his wife's like, no, I think it's the blue lights. And he's like, I'm not colorblind. And she's like, I'm not colorblind. And then he gets the blue lights working. He's like, I told you it was green. It's like, I think the dad's colorblind.
Dad's colorblind. Yep.
But I just love how she was like, I'm not colorblind.
Yep.
It's just these little snippy moments they have that's like so relationshipy.
Yep.
Like it's just so true. There is one quote that I don't see people talk about, but I could see people having a problem with this. But it says the old man loved bargaining as much as an Arab trader, and he was twice as shrewd. I thought that could be a little more
for
racist
sure.
than the
Chinese
other one, because that one's just out of nowhere. So, but anyway, I did.
Find it. I was disappointed they did not tell me how much the Christmas tree was, because I want to know what the Christmas tree inflation rate is now. Freaking real Christmas trees are stupid expensive.
Yes,
and
they are.
I stopped buying them. Last year, the first year, I had not had a real tree because I looked at my wife the previous year and said, just go buy a fake one. I don't even care. I'm done. It was like over $100 I paid for it. It was like 140, 150, 60 bucks I paid for a real freaking Christmas tree. I'm like, nope, I'm done. I was like, that's just stupid. That's
Same.
just
We did that a
ridiculous.
few years ago. I think this year might be the year we like actually break even if we had just bought like real Christmas trees for the entire time because they're so expensive that we just
Yeah.
want to bake one as well.
Yeah, I mean it's just too much these days. But yeah, I was like sitting there on the edge of my seat, like, come on, tell me how much the tree is. I want to know how much the tree is. And he's like, I'll give you $2 off and rope it tied to your car. And he's like, deal.
One of my favorite parts. So the leg lamp, the dad is like trying to win $50,000 by doing like a crossword.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie. And one of the things is like Tonto's cousin's horse or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the horse's
I don't
name.
Remember. Victor?
And
No.
Yeah, Victor. That's it.
Is it Victor?
Okay. So the husband is like, what? And the wife's like, Victor. And he's like, how did you know that? And she's like, it's just Victor. I just knew. Yeah. And she's like, what's the theme of the thing? And it's like the great literary, like people or persons through history. And she's like, Victor? So anyway, he winds up winning, which is funny because the wife hates, or the mom hates the lamp so much, but she helped him win this lamp as his major award for this thing. And so anyway, she hates the lamp and he loves it. He's like outside and he's like, oh yeah, turn it to the right. The whole neighborhood's out there looking at this leg lamp, which is just a leg and stockings. His son is like, Ralphie is like running his hand up the leg like the whole time, the electric sex part of it. And so then there's a scene where he's like, now what happened next was a family controversy for years. And so the mom breaks the lamp off screen. You don't see how it happens.
Yeah, by accident.
Yes, by accident. And the dad's like holding it, and he's like, where's the glue? And she's like, we're out of glue. And he goes, you used up all the glue on purpose.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he goes out to get glue, and then the narrator, Ralphie as narrator, just says, the old man stood there quivering with fury, stammering as he tried to come up with a real crusher, but all he got out was, and the dad, who's known for like his like very ineloquent cursing, is just like, not a finger, and just leaves. He's like got gibberish all the time. So not a finger. But I always loved that. I love when Ralphie gets into the fight and Ralphie thinks that his dad's gonna like tear him a new one when he gets home. Yeah. And his little brother is hiding under the cabinet. And his mom is like, she opens it up and she's like, hey, what's wrong? Why are you crying? He's like, the little brother's like, Daddy's gonna kill Ralphie. And she's like, Daddy's not gonna kill Ralphie. Yeah, she's like, do you want some milk? And he's just like, and she gets him a glass and just hands it to the cabinet. It just closes the door. It just stays in the cabinet.
My daughter loved that part of the movie. She loved that part. That was a funny part. Yeah, because it's like, why are you still in the cabinet? And then like when the dad comes home, like the mom goes and opens the cabinet and like, gets him to come out the cabinet. He's just like, he's sitting there for who knows how long. He's sitting in that cabinet. Yeah. Like,
you never know.
You never know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is meanwhile, I struggled for the exact right BB gun hint. It had to be firm, but subtle. Flick says he saw some grizzly bears near Pulaski's candy store. They looked at me as if I had lobsters crawling out of my ears. Lone Ranger's nephew's horse. That's what it is.
Lone Ranger's nephew. Oh, so here's something I noticed that I was just like, why? Why did they have so many like Wizard of Oz scenes in that like Wizard of Oz? Mm-hmm. Like, because they went to a parade and like all the Wizard of Oz characters were there, including the monkeys.
Right.
And I believe they started attacking Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
In one point in the parade.
And the parents are skipping along with the characters as they pick up the kids from the bottom of the slide.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's just so
I think they were trying to place the movie in time. So Wizard of Oz came out in 1939.
Yeah.
So, which is often considered one of the greatest years for film. But
And I mean, then the Wicked Witch shows up.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just so funny, like because they kept showing the Wizard of Oz characters.
Yeah. Scut Farkus, what a rotten name. We were trapped. There he stood between us and the alley. Scut Farkus staring out at us with his yellow eyes. He had yellow eyes. So help me God, yellow eyes. And there was a scene where the mom overdresses the younger brother. And so he's like, I can't put my arms down. And she presses his arms and they just pop back up. And she's like, just put them down when you get to school.
Yeah, put them down when you get to school.
Sends them out. And so somehow this kid goes to school, and then at the end of school, they're walking back, and he's dressed in the same way. Whoever did that, it's just, anyway, that wouldn't have happened. But he can't move well. So when Scut Farkus and his toady attack Ralphie and his friends, he said, Randy is the younger brother. He's just laying on the ground. And he's like, Randy lay there like a slug. It was his only defense.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so quotable. It's just so good.
It is. There was a really good joke in there that I thought was funny, and it just went under the radar. It's like the mom gives the dad a present on Christmas morning, and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" And he's like holding it, and he's like opens it up, and he's like, "Oh, it's a bowling ball." And she's like, "A big blue one."
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. She puts it right in his lap.
Yeah, right in his lap.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he's like,
thanks
a lot.
Yeah. And then they sleep in separate beds too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so old school.
You know it's a euphemism. You know it.
Yeah. You know it. And that's exactly that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
My daughter thought she laughed whenever Ralphie woke up on Christmas morning and opened his window and was looking outside, and he's like, oh, because it's like snow on the ground. He's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Randy, wake up. And she's like, it's looked like that the whole movie. It's literally been snow on the ground the whole movie.
That's the point, though. It looks better at Christmas.
Yeah.
It looks better.
Just why is he so excited? It looked like that the whole movie.
So true, though.
Yes.
So true.
That's from a kid's point of view on that one. But,
yes, I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It is definitely a Christmas classic movie, though, that is... I enjoy it. Is like I could sit here and talk quotes from this. It is a very quotable. It's one of those very quotable movies. Because you could just go through here, and I think you would find every time you watched it, you'd probably pick up on different things.
Yeah.
Like different quotes that you might not have picked up on the time before when you watched it and stuff like that. So
I've never noticed the little colorblind spat.
Yeah,
that
I didn't notice that until you said that. Like I didn't pick up on that whenever they were saying that. So I mean, it's just a fun movie. Like I mean, it's Christmas too, so that just adds to it.
Yeah,
but it's not just a Christmas movie. Yeah, that's the big theme of it. But like the other scenes that just make the movie that much better because it's not just about this kid trying to get a BB gun. It's about him living his life for like 3 days, leading up to Christmas and all these little things that happen. And like, why are they still going to school that late? Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, they went to school like
there really is no delineation. I mean, I think like more time passes by because they'll show them they'll show them running from Scut Farkus every day. Yeah. And then, but it does seem like they get out right before Christmas. Which is
and maybe that's the way it was back then.
Yeah, maybe so.
Who knows? I don't know. It was but it was just a fun movie.
Yeah. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh yeah,
because you hadn't seen it in a while, right?
It had been a while since I'd seen it. Probably since probably been 10 years or so. Like I think I watched it when my kids were younger.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter is almost 13 and my son is almost 16. So, I watched it when they were younger. So probably 10 years ago, maybe 8 to 10 years probably since I've seen it. So, yeah.
Well, we watched it early this year.
We did, and
I mean,
it's
I still
okay.
got pumpkins on my porch, man.
I mean, but let's be realistic here. You and me do watch horror movies year round and act like it's
Okay.
October all the time. So,
Dude, that's a good segue because Bob
Uh-oh.
Clark, the director of this movie,
yeah.
also directed the 1974 version, the original version of Black Christmas,
Oh, it's such a good movie. I love Black Christmas.
which is another Christmas classic. So,
Yeah, that is a Christmas classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So anyway, it is pretty cool.
He's just good at directing Christmas movies, I guess.
2 Christmas movies on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's pretty awesome.
Very opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is cool. I did not know that.
So you'd recommend this movie?
Yes. 100%. Yes. Yeah. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to watch it. It is a classic. Like, it's just fun. Like, it's just fun. Like, I just like fun movies. Like, sometimes I don't really like serious movies. Like, that's why I like B-rated horror movies, like comedy horror movies and slasher films, because they're not serious. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like funny movies. So,
yeah, I agree. I like them fun too. I've been avoiding serious movies for a long time.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last series. I mean, unless you want to consider some horror movie serious movies, I can't tell you the last serious movie I watched.
Yeah,
it's just not my thing. I'd rather laugh and be scared than have to watch a serious movie. So,
amen. So watch A Christmas Story.
Yeah. Yes. Please watch Christmas Story. We're not even going to rate it because we still don't know our rating system. We just both like it, and it's great. 2 thumbs up, whatever you want. 5 balls, 6 balls, 10 balls, whatever.
Yeah. 4 out of 4 tongues on a pole.
Yeah, there you go. 4 out of 4 tongues on a pole. I like that. We'll go with that. 4 out of 4 tongues on a pole. Yeah, everybody should definitely watch this movie. And I feel like if you haven't seen it in a long time, like myself, rewatch it because I think you definitely. I appreciate it more now than when I did when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
So,
well, it is like one of those things where I think I know it so well because I watch it every year, but it's like how much am I watching it? Because sometimes it just does become one of the Christmas things that's on in the background, like a decoration or something. Mm-hmm. So it's like this was the first time that I'd like sat down just to watch it in a long time. Right. So that I appreciated the wheel for giving us that gift this holiday season.
All hail the wheel.
All hail the wheel.
It is infallible. It knows exactly what it is doing.
Dude, we should start on our predictions episode. We should start seeing who the wheel picks.
I'm fine with that.
We could see how good the wheel is at picking the winner.
That's the thing. Well, to be fair, then, but how will the wheel know how we got to come up with a score system for the wheel, though? Because we can't just let them pick winners and losers because that's not fair to us. Because we try to actually be perfect, Jason. The wheel I don't know.
Can do an over-under or something. Okay. I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll workshop that. That. I like that idea, though, because the wheel is all knowing and all powerful.
The wheel is pretty good.
And we don't have any reason to use the wheel again until freaking March. So we need to find something to use the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Anything else you want to add about the movie, Jason? Anything else?
No, I'll keep talking. I already talked too much. I feel bad for all you listeners out there, but yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
We love hearing your voice. It's fantastic. And so we'll do this in reverse order since you segued it and I segued it. Or if you want to listen to us on Spotify or Apple, because that's where you can listen to the podcast at. But if you want to look at these ugly mugs and see our Christmas outfits we have on, you can watch us on YouTube at Red White Blues FC. So give us a like, give us a follow, ding, ding, ding that bell, blah, 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 blah. Comment. Tell us your favorite Christmas movie in the comment section down below. Yeah, whatever, something. I don't know. So Jason, tell them the rest of this stuff. Whatever.
We're on the Twitter. We're on the Instagram. We're on the Threads. And we're on the Substack. Daniel writes amazing things on all the things. You can read 100 word reviews on every match. Daniel's been killing it. I'm going to join one day. It'll happen. Been saying that for 3 seasons. But anyway, slide into our DMs.
Yeah, sure. What? I don't.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. At Red White Blues FC. It's the same name on all the things.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's that everywhere. It's right down there. If you can't read Red White Blues FC, that's where it is. But yeah, until next time, catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
Merry early Christmas, flippity floppity.